Yep, you can hear the rivet guns running. It's a great day to be alive. Good morning and welcome to the Patriot Radio News Hour. I'm Eric Cedarstrom, and we are live from beautiful Deer Valley, Arizona. And I hope this finds you well on this post-Easter lockdown weekend. I know everybody's doing their best. They're trying to keep their mandatory separation, social separations, and it's really hard to do. This show is brought to you by the Patriot Trading Group, legal, lawful, constitutional tender, gold and silver, that is. We do it better than anybody in the world. We've been around a long time. No free reports, no 833 numbers, no 888 numbers, no bait and switch, no hide the weenie, just real solid product and good advice. Call us 1-800-951-0592. You can also head out to our website at allamericangold.com. Updated daily and minutely now with news, pricing, things that allow you to while away the never-ending hours of your isolation and quarantine. And here, depending on where you are and where you're listening, it is a completely different event for people depending on their geographical location. And I'm joined with President of Patriot Trading Group. He's also going to talk to us about social isolation in the Valley of the Sun. Joe Jaquin. Good morning, Joe. How are you doing?
Hey, Eric. Good morning. Happy Monday. Weirdest Easter ever at my house. With all that is going on, it was just the four of us hunkered down. We started binge watching The Sopranos again. I actually was watching, I'm not kidding, I was watching the 1997 Spelling Bee rerun on ESPN Easter morning. Because I didn't know what else to do.
Spelling bee. Spell cataclysmic and use it in a sentence.
I think that drug that Trump keeps touting was one of the words you had to spell.
Here in Arizona, the golf courses are open, the shooting ranges are open. You visit both of them over the weekend.
I did.
So I played the golf at the Biltmore Saturday. I just couldn't take it. I've been sequestered. Don't forget, I was sequestered 8 weeks prior to all this. And I felt guilty about it, but I have to tell you that they are just flaunting the laws. If we are going to get a pandemic here in Arizona, an explosion, it's going to come out of the golf courses, and it's going to come out of the gray area businesses because they're just packing them in. Going to a shooting range, shooting ranges are open. So, they're not, these are small little rooms you go into, little target places, people bumping elbows and shoulders, coming in and out. Golf, here's how they're doing it. You want to order something to eat? Can't go in the restaurant and order. They block the door, but there's a table there with a menu, so you order. If you want to go into the bar, go ahead and get a drink, but there's no tables. There's no tables or chairs. This is how the golf course has dealt with this. This will stop the pandemic, trust me. No tables or chairs. Now, there's hundreds of people at the Biltmore sitting on the putting practice greens and laying around on the grass, eating and drinking, and people are keeping their social distance unless they're with the people they're with. They're sitting next to them. So it's crazy. Now, you go to the grocery stores out here. You don't have mandatory gloves. You don't have mandatory masks. And it's about, what, Joe, 50-50, you think? People that are, if that, or 80-20, 80%?
Yeah, I was going to say, 80% of the people got nothing.
Right, 80% have nothing. Isn't that something?
Yeah. Well,
So,
you know what?
You can't even do it. You go 300 miles to the west, they'll lock you up. You'll get a $1,000 ticket if you stick your head in a fries without a mask and gloves on. Out here, doesn't exist. Why? We have 3,000 cases and 7 million people.
Yeah, is it?
Now, if we're going to explode, and from what I'm seeing, we may. Because we're at where New York was in, say, February. You don't forget. If you go back 38 days, what was the number one story? Number one.
38 days. Dow's at an all-time high.
President's being impeached.
Oh, the impeachment.
You forget all about that. The Super Bowl was February, 4th?
Something like that.
100,000 people. That weekend, 500,000 people came to the Phoenix Open that week. 500,000 people. And stood shoulder to shoulder and drank beer and swapped spit and had sex or whatever it is that you do at the golf course there now. So this is how fast things have changed. Here in Arizona, it's not an issue. So really, you just can't go to dinner. You can't go bowling. We're trying to figure out what you can't do.
Can't go to the movie theaters.
But all the trades are open.
You can't go to the national parks.
Get this. There was a house hit the market.
The zoo's closed.
In North Scottsdale, price good. They had multiple offers, multiple showings, sold in a day. So out here, life is pretty normal. So I can't tell you where we're heading or if it's going to follow. But, Fauci came out and tweeted, was it last night, that, if we'd have started the social distancing earlier, things would be different. Now, just about everybody's the jury's out. I thought Fauci and Blix,
yeah.
Interesting choices for this president to bring on, but again...
Well, he didn't have a choice. It's not like he put them there. They were there
Right,
already.
they were there.
The
Surgeon General, come on. Are you kidding me? I mean, just the most inept, but everybody's inept. Look at the people running aircraft carriers and stuff. Everybody's inept. They don't know. I mean, what are you going to do with this? So unless there is, there'll be a new pandemic book passed out when this is all done, before the sun ever rises next fall. There will be a pandemic book made, and of the laws that will be universal. They're not just going to be Arizona or Oklahoma. They're going to be China, Japan.
Freedom is going to be
it's gone.
Non-existent.
It's gone. And
just
now,
like free markets are gone.
So now you've got virus tracking by the phone, too. Let's not talk about that.
Apple wants it, Microsoft, Google, they're all in on it. I mean, Bill Gates, the head cheerleader for all of this stuff, it's really getting creepy. It really is. When you think about, the numbers don't support what the powers to be want to inflict upon the American people.
Let me ask you something to think about during the break here, and thanks for tuning in. Is this an act of God? And I ask you that not for the religious section, but for the legal definition. We'll be back. Patriot Radio News Hour, rocking and firing on this Monday morning. Thanks for tuning in. This show brought to you by the Patriot Trading Group and allamericangold.com. We're live here in KXXT 1010 Family Values Radio here in Phoenix and Colorado, live also 1360khnc.com and on any one of a gazillion podcasting outlets. Show numbers are changing daily, rising daily. More and more people becoming part of the tinfoil nation. You got Joe Jaquint and Radio Eric rocking and firing this morning. Going into the break, we were talking about force majeure, which, is it's in just about every legal document. And, for what it applies to is you look at, I guess, Cheesecake Factory. They're forced to close. So if you're forced to close, is that force majeure? And I think because they said they're not going to pay their rent.
Well, not just Cheesecake Factory.
But everybody, right. I'm just using it as an
thousands
example.
of people not paying. In force majeure, just so people understand, that is a legal way for a company or a person to be able to not have to honor a contract.
Right, it gets you out of it. So
correct.
They call it an escape clause is really what it is. But a force majeure, whenever that they use that, it's considered an act of God. Now, an earthquake's an act of God. Somehow floods. Somehow they get around the flood thing. Water damage, you have to buy special
for
flood,
the wind.
everything, right? Wind.
You're covered for the wind.
But not flood. So you're covered for hail.
Yep.
But if you're paying rent, where you've got a lease contract and the governor closes you down, I don't think there's a court in the land or even a lease on your home. So if you're leasing a house, any leases that, you go, well, look, I can't help it. I got laid off. They closed our business. I'm not paying. But somehow it's going to have the pandemic hasn't been classified.
Correct, because
as force majeure.
Even in the states where they say, we're not allowing evictions. That's not the same thing. They're still saying you owe the money, right? And when this pandemic is over, you either pay or you get out.
Right.
Where, the force majeure
is like you don't have to pay them back.
Right.
So will this be declared an act of God? Or does the China Communist Party?
I think we're going to need an act of God for the small businesses to actually be able to get any of this money that they've been promised. And that I believe.
Well, interesting, because there's absolute chaos in the businesses trying to tap the rescue fund. I mean, desperate small business owners who hope for a quick government lifeline ain't going to happen.
Not happening. It's not happening. You know, they're out there, the central bank, the Federal Reserve, the U.S. Treasury, right? They're bailing out their buddies on Wall Street once again. The small business guy, nothing. I didn't even get usually every day last week, I got the courtesy email from the bank about where it was, and, don't worry, we're getting to it. I didn't even get that this
The bank should have never been involved in this.
Never.
So they just got the feds to do it. The feds bailed out the big guys. They're all getting checks. The millions and millions of little businesses.
This was supposed to be, we're just going to give you the money.
Right. Take it.
Give us your EIN number. Give us your bank account. We know you're a business. Here's your money. Not happening.
So I don't know if anyone's gotten them.
Listen, these things are not, I don't know anybody yet. I mean, I read about in the Wall Street Journal last week, we read about one person in North Carolina, and maybe you hear about one person here or one person there. I mean, it's incredible.
It doesn't say they get the money. It says they've been approved.
Well, that's okay. No,
right.
See, that's a big distinction.
Yeah,
because they were trying on CNBC to give you a phony little headline about how everyone's getting the money. All they're doing, they're all like me. We're on step one, which is I filled out the form and the bank got it. That's it. No money's actually rolling out of this program. And these morons up there, they don't get it. These businesses are never going to reopen. You got businesses that have no revenue, none, zero.
Done. So Treasury Secretary Mnuchin, of course, raised expectations of nearly immediate cash.
Yeah, the guy's a clown.
When he announced the Paycheck Protection Program.
They where is he today? You know what? He was out on the TV every day for like 2 weeks promising all this money. Where is it, Steve?
What's the great initials? They use the same initials as the Plunge Protection Program. So apparently Wall Street got it, not today. Stocks were down a nickel, down 500. Gold, well, here we have it. Said last week, stocks go up, gold goes up. Stocks go down, gold goes up. They tried to do the hammer gold this morning.
That didn't work.
Didn't work. So the markets are just ticking away. I mean, absolute insanity. There is product available, though. I mean, the spreads are calming down. Things are becoming a little more normal. We're starting to get some two-way markets running here, and we're here for you. So the banker said that they knew going into the program that there would be a tsunami of applications. They don't even, you can't even get the right number. I guarantee you it's in the millions.
Yes.
Millions. SBA processes 60,000 loans a year.
I'm going to tell you right now, they're essentially using the same numbers today that they were using last Wednesday. 860,000. That's a bunch of crap. This thing is in the tens of millions.
How far away are we until, and I made this prediction a couple weeks ago, that the armored cars full of cash are in the bank parking lots, and people are lined up to get their they're going to need an ID, Social Security number, and here's your 10 grand. Armed guards everywhere.
How about this? You know, the unemployment, the extra $600 a week? They haven't even gotten that yet.
I know.
I mean, they're hoping, fingers crossed, maybe this week they'll get an extra $600.
The Arizona Republic had it wrong also. They're saying, again, you had to make that money. You had to be making, you only get this is how stupid government is. You only get $240 a week maximum in Arizona. Doesn't matter if you're an attorney. This is for unemployment. Laid off. You're laid off. You're an attorney. You were making $2,500 a week. You get $240. That's it. This is how they think people live in this country. This is where they get the $1,200 stimulus check from. $240 won't get you out of the frozen food section at Fry's if you've got a family of 4. This is what's so stupid. So if you were making if you're making $1,000 a week, now they'll give you up to $840, but you had to be making that money going in. So it isn't that everybody just all of a sudden gets $840, even though you're working part-time at McDonald's for $110 a week. That's not how it works. So if it did work like that, none of them would ever go back to work. So, does that make sense?
None of them.
None of them. So, which may happen anyway. If you're living in mom and dad's basement, I know I'm 30. This means I'm going to have to push it until I'm 40.
How about the parents?
How many 30-year-olds are living
How
at
about
home?
the parents who just got their 30-year-olds out of their house?
I know. They're just finally starting to buy houses. So, since April 3rd, the program began now, they said there's more than 800,000 applications. This is the SBA. You know what? Not only can they not process them, they don't even know how many there are.
No, they don't.
So, Bankers say that it was going to be rough. A smaller bank, Washington Trust, located in the Pacific Northwest, received 1,900 applications the first week. This was 3 weeks ago. 20 times the number of applications it handled all of last year.
For a whole year.
For a whole year. So it's been absolute chaos. We haven't gotten to the point where the program is even really open yet.
They don't even know the guidelines yet. These are what the banks are saying. Hey, listen, we don't even know what the next step for us to do is. We can't even tell our customers yet what paperwork we need. This is ridiculous. This was supposed to be fill out a one-page form, and here's some money.
It doesn't make any sense. I mean, if you just give a Social Security or an EIN number, they should have just, boom, shot everybody out cash, and then you can start going. But they're going to wait. By the time people get any money wired into their accounts, because that's what they ask for. They want your routing number, which is how you send money, a wire, and your account number. That's all you need. When you get right down to it, that's all you need for wiring instructions. So, and by the time the money goes in, the accounts are going to be closed. So
it's over. So all of that money.
Crazy.
It's just going to be eating up all the rents that haven't been paid, all the bills that haven't been paid, the power bills, the water bills, right, the sanitation bills. All those bills are still due. They've got no income. I have no idea what the heck they're doing out there. And, Wall Street rallying all last week, we kind of laughed. Like, what the heck are they doing? What are they even looking at?
I'm going to tell you.
And all they're looking at is, hey, we're going to get our money. We don't know about the guy that owns the restaurant or the bowling alley or the cigar shop or the little gym that, CrossFit and all that. We don't know about them. We're going to get ours.
They're doing it backwards. So I guarantee you, the higher the amount of money you ask for, quicker they're going to get to you.
I think you're right.
It's all backwards.
See,
so if you ask for, what's the limit?
To reapply $10 million.
$10 million, yeah. So go apply for $9,999,000, and that'll get you up in the top 1 million applications. So that's got to be how they're doing it. By the time they get down to the little guy, I mean, it's just asinine. If they do this again, government can't help you. We're from the government. We're here to help. They don't understand business. They don't understand the economy. They don't understand how it works. They don't understand. I mean, Arizona, it used to be people came to Arizona because they got bankrupt in the Midwest. And they come out here, they move their families, they start, a trades company, a roofing company, an electrical company, a drywall company, or they go into real estate, or they're developers, or, or the tourism industry. And they all start all over again, and then everybody buys and sells. They got 2 or 3 houses, and they work their way up, and, they become successful. But they're usually small mom-and-pop businesses that become successful. It's not corporations. It's not Honeywell anymore. It used to be. I mean, when I was a kid, we moved out here to Arizona, everybody worked for Motorola. And, I mean, every neighborhood was a Motorola neighborhood. The lower levels were in South Scottsdale and down in Phoenix. And then as you move north a little bit and the homes got nicer, you got middle management. And up on the hill were the executives. That's how this worked. It isn't that way anymore. But they still think it works that way. And it may in New York. New York is setting the pace for everywhere. So.
Yeah, there's two different New York. There's New York City, and then there's the rest of New York. But believe me, the rest of New York is devastated by what's happening here. And obviously New York City is as well, but upstate New York just getting hammered. How about these farmers? This is another thing we haven't talked about. All these restaurants, guess what they ordered? I know, shocking. Food. Right? They all had food. Now all these places aren't ordering any food yet. Somehow I'm reading all these stories. Dairy farmers are dumping milk, right? Everybody's throwing their crops away because they can't get the fruits, and their vegetables are rotting out in the field. No one's taking orders yet. When I go to Costco, there is no chicken.
Yeah, there's no chicken. And they're dumping milk in Arizona. And I don't think they are in Colorado, but the price is going up. But again, these are Great Depression era stuff, It's what it is. It's just all coming back again. It's interesting. We did a story last week on these tremendous market swings, and if you look point-wise, the top movers are, of course, now. Point-wise.
Yes, point-wise.
But percentage-wise, it's the Great Depression. I mean, you have the Great Depression, and then you have now 2020 moves.
Almost
that are all right in there with them.
If you take the top 10, the top 20 percentage biggest moves, dominated by the Great Depression and now.
Yeah, and now. So But, of course, the Great Depression. So I just said to a guy on the air a minute ago, in 1925, before they confiscated gold, if I was going to buy your Model T for $23, you'd get a $20 gold piece and 3 silver dollars. Or a $20 bill and 3 paper dollars. They were all interchangeable. So this is the big difference to where we're heading. And, of course, you know, my thought on it all is that they're just going to create hyperinflation. There isn't any way to do it. There isn't any other way around it. And what's interesting is for some reason, I brought it up last week, and I still can't get it, because in America today, it's the lowest percentage of households ever to be exposed to a stock market. Ever. You know, just the growth isn't there. People already been burned before. They don't want back in. You got the day traders. The computers dominate. The day traders get wiped out from computer algorithms literally in minutes. Even though
get wiped out by the Federal Reserve just wiped you out. You had the right bet on, and then the next morning you wake up and Jay Powell's out there saying, hey, we're bailing this out or we're bailing that out, and you get wiped out.
Talking to the mortgage broker Saturday, you know, they'd say, well, business good. Mortgage rates are at 3.25%. The VA rates are at 2.75%, but nobody's talking about that while all this is going on, they lowered the discount rate to 0%. I mean, where mortgage rates may have to go below 1% before this is all crazy. It's going to be crazy. Could create inflation. We'll be back. Patriot Radio News Hour.
This is the Phyllis Schlafly Report, a daily commentary continuing the conservative pro-family legacy of Phyllis Schlafly. Now, here's the president of Phyllis Schlafly Eagles, Ed Martin.
The world has been rocked by the rapid spread of the infamous and infectious Wuhan coronavirus. Let's not forget that this deadly pathogen originated from the province of Wuhan in China. Isn't it an interesting coincidence that Wuhan is also the site of a top-secret biological weapons development lab? One can only wonder if something so deadly might have come from this warfare lab. Whether the pathogen is man-made or not, the solution to the problem is still the same. Closing our borders and ending our permissive visa policy is the only effective way to protect our citizens against the invasion of deadly viruses like this one. Quarantines within our nation can only be effective if the disease does not continue to enter from other countries. It didn't take long for experts to admit that we couldn't contain the virus within China. So the only meaningful approach going forward is to keep viruses like this out of the United States. This requires tightening our border security and our visa policy. President Trump did this early on in this crisis by stopping flights from China. And he did it again when he stopped flights from Europe. The only option in these times of crisis is to understand what's at stake. And one decision that we have to be willing to make is to limit the vast amount of migration here, especially from regions which do not share Western standards of cleanliness or who already are facing the disease. I'll be the first to admit that this is a bold move. But our nation has been saddled with too many spineless politicians whose idea of a bold move is having steak for supper rather than caviar. That's not the kind of leadership we need to take on these threats that are coming to us because of globalism. Instead, we need bold leadership and bold leaders who will make the tough decisions necessary to put the American people first. President Trump has already demonstrated his willingness to take this stand and take these risks. It's not about scoring political points. It's about protecting we the people. That's what we need to fight Ebola, the Wuhan coronavirus, and other deadly contagions.
This has been the Phyllis Schlafly Report from Phyllis Schlafly Eagles. Do you like what you see at the Trump White House? Will President Trump continue to advance conservative ideals? At phyllisschlafly.com, you gain complete access to Phyllis Schlafly Eagles news updates and commentaries and can track our work on Capitol Hill. Go online often to phyllisschlafly.com. And thanks for listening to the Phyllis Schlafly Report.
You're listening to the Patriot Radio News Hour on a Monday. Thanks for tuning in. This show rebroadcasts around the world as well. You can go to 1360khnc.com and podcast. You can also go to YouTube, go to the Patriot Radio News Hour channel and listen as well anytime you'd like. Eric Cedarstrom, Joe Jaquint, and Wendy out front here. So we're trying to separate the wheat from the chaff for you and trying to figure it out. Cardinal Timothy Dolan yesterday, Easter Sunday, encouraged Catholics to listen to the doctors, scientists, and civil officials during the coronavirus crisis, warning, do not tempt the Lord. So if you're thinking about violating the lockdown, apparently, according to Cardinal, that God wants you to stay locked down at this point in time. Mark Cuban, bearish on the Trump economy springing back, where now I had heard rumors, Joe would know this, that he's talking about maybe a presidential run. Is that right?
Yeah, people are talking about it. He's not going to do it. He doesn't want that job.
Who would want it?
Yeah.
I think to be president, you're actually going to have to lose a contest at this point.
Right.
I mean, do you really want to run this? So
Biden was the loser. He drew the short straw in that whole thing for the Democrats.
So anyway, that's
well, you know what Cuban was talking about, just what we were talking about. Nobody's getting any money. And people forget, listen, it's the small business that is really the lifeblood of this economy, right? It's the go to these shopping centers. Yeah, okay, you got the big supermarket chain. But then every other place next to it are all small business guys. You know, the Subway guy, like, oh, Subway's the big company. Chances are he's just a little franchise, right? He's got his own little business. You got the Mexican place. You got this restaurant. You got the nail salon, right? You got the dry cleaner, right? These are all the small businesses out there, and they're all just getting hammered.
Well, how about this one? At Wayne Chicken Processing Plant in Alabama, workers recently had to pay the company 10 cents a day to buy masks to protect themselves. Now, this is brutal. Brutal. Talk about in denial. There is so much denial still going on. This disease has the possibility to still explode. In Colorado, nearly a third of the workers at JBS USA beef plant stayed home amid safety concerns for the last 2 weeks as a 30-year employee of the facility died following complications from the virus. And since the Olymel pork plant in Quebec shut down March 29th, the number of workers who tested positive for the coronavirus quintupled to more than 50, according to their union. The facility and at least 10 others in North America have temporarily closed or reduced production. Who was it this morning, Joe Smithfield?
Smithfield, their pork plant in Sioux Falls, South Dakota is now closed. Not to be outdone, JBS USA Holding temporarily closed its plants in Pennsylvania. They slaughter cattle and produce ground beef. Cargill closed its beef plant. And Empire Kosher Poultry, the largest kosher chicken supplier, closed its plant. Who else? Tyson Foods has temporarily shut an Iowa pork plant after 24 tested positive for the disease there. So all these chicken, beef, pork processing plants seemingly shutting down all over the country now.
Yeah, there are. Smithfield is the world's biggest.
Yeah, they're big.
So what's this going to do? I mean, we're going to see. I mean, obviously it breaks in the supply line. So, I mean, this still. I mean, this has the potential to still get much worse here. So, Arizona's just waiting. You know, it's weird. Not helping.
It's a Great Depression that's coming. I'm sorry, but you don't close the entire country outside of, supermarkets, golf courses, and what else is still gun ranges, right? Outside of that, you don't close everything else down and somehow expect that it's just going to be miraculously okay.
It's crazy, what can happen here. So now you've got shortages and money being printed everywhere, and the question is, will people take it? Like, I don't know. Costco had steaks for $28 a pound, but they went to restock and couldn't get any, so now they want $150 a pound for. Maybe $300 next week. Maybe $500 a pound next week. Don't worry, the money's everywhere, the credit lines, until they just won't take it anymore.
What I don't get is if the restaurants shut down and all this food was being thrown away, why is there no chicken? Why is there no meat? Why is there none of this stuff sitting on the shelves at these supermarkets?
The chicken, man, the chicken's kind of crazy. So now, of course, the United States and Canada are the world's biggest shippers of beef and pork. Now, you go back to can we possibly still be shipping food out of the country? Has the president not gotten to this? Because it's really, we send cardboard and food. That's about it under NAFTA and GATT. That's what we got to keep. And now they quit taking the cardboard. Remember that? No more recycling anywhere. So the recycling has all come to an end. I mean, nobody recycles. It's just done because they can still produce it cheaper. So now the food, I mean, now you saw it, everybody saw that the medical supplies, I mean, China grabbed billions and billions of masks and everything from American companies. All the American name companies that all fill the supply shelves, and everybody was all for all these free trade agreements where all the stuff's all got American names on them that we all grew up with, but none of it's made here. Well, China says, no, you're not shipping it out of the country. You're not doing it. So that's what happened. So 3M can lie about it and all this. Okay, now they're taking here in Arizona, I talked about it if you weren't paying attention, that things are starting to come back. Honeywell is building N95 equivalent masks here in Phoenix. They're supposed to be out in the middle of next month. They're still a month away. They said 45 days when they got to tool up and start knocking these things out. And they're going to be making $10 million a day or something.
How long is this country going to be closed?
It's going to be closed a long time. So how are we going to get it all back? And let me ask you something. Do you think Wall Street will still stand in the way of the president? Going, oh, God. Do you think OSHA will still stop in every regulation? All right, do you think the Environmental Protection Agency is still going to be there going, we got to save the spotted owl?
I'm going to tell you right now, I think the Democratic governors are going to stand in the way.
They will, won't
absolutely.
In spite of all this,
yep.
Just hadn't got bad enough yet. Just stick around a while.
Give it a couple more weeks.
Give it a couple more months.
Wait till all of a sudden nobody pays again on May 1st. Let's see how bad it gets.
The biggest problem is absenteeism. It's the biggest problem. This is what the National Guard's supposed to do, but there ain't enough of those guys. I mean, so tremendous absenteeism is continuing to drop, and the levels of all the shipping, the truckers, I mean, it's just everywhere. So, I mean, I'm not saying this to be facetious or create a point or scare you. I'm just, this is the facts of life right now, ladies and gentlemen. So, but on the bright side, North American meat demand has dropped 30% from the past month because the restaurants are all closed.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Why do you think that the supermarket will be flooded with meat?
So, frozen meat in U.S. cold storage remains plentiful, but supply could be whittled down as they export, here it is, protein-hungry China, according to Newsmax, after a trade agreement removed obstacles for American meat purchases. Think about that. They dropped the trade barriers to tax the meat, and then all this hit. I can't imagine that they'll let that go much longer. Can't be shipping food out of the country if the grocery stores are cleaned out. But again, Wall Street calms all that down as well. So today it's not working too well. We'll be back. Patriot Radio News Hour. Patriot Radio News Hour. Thanks for tuning in. Glenn, one of the great broadcasters here, just texted me. Listening in this morning. Supermarket meat/food and restaurant food packaged and processed differently. Just like commercial and retail toilet.
Yeah, I know that. We're not stupid here either. But I mean,
maybe a little.
If GM can make ventilators and Honeywell can make masks, you would think meat processing places would be able to, make some more of the supermarket packaging, right? Versus having these farmers have to, have their stuff rot in the fields and all these things. I just don't get. It just doesn't make sense.
Well, they say there's a huge risk of additional plant closure. Here's one. JBS had to reduce its beef production at their massive plant in Greeley, Colorado.
Something weird is up.
800 to 1,000 workers a day now stay home. The end of March, said Kim Cordova, president of the local United Food and Commercial Workers Union that represents the employees. That's what's up there, union.
Well, you know what, though? South Dakota, I'm thinking about this Smithfield plant in South Dakota. And I'm like, South Dakota? Do they even have cases in South Dakota, right? I had to go look. They had a total. South Dakota's got a total of like 730 cases total.
Yeah, but they only got 800 people.
9 people died in South Dakota, and they've closed this plant that's going to devastate farmers, the workers. But what they said in here, according to and this was Wall Street Journal, that of the 730 cases in South Dakota, 238 of them have come out of this plant.
Isn't that weird? So, well, that's what it does, though, but it's cold in there, too. So,
You think maybe that's the issue?
Because it's a little colder, yeah. I think the virus does not do well in the heat. Let's hope. That's what everybody in Arizona is counting on, trust me. So even baseball, Major League Baseball,
and that's not just South Dakota. It's all these plants all over. Iowa, they're shutting down plants. Pennsylvania, they're shutting down plants. The South, they're shutting down all these meat packing plants. And I'm like, what's going on? Maybe that's
why just the meat packing. Yeah,
so,
is it that the market is that people can't afford meat? I mean, go back to Roger and me when he did the GM shutdown of Flint, Michigan, and everybody was starving. Guys selling rabbits as pets or meat on the sign. JBS is Brazilian-owned, by the way, there in Greeley, Colorado. So, anyway. This is what we got. You know what's funny? We're going to run a special here on some silver, but it's probably going to reverse as things go on. So, the 90% silver half dollars, junk silver they call that, 1964 and older half dollars. They're in currency bags of 2,000 half dollars, and that equals $1,000 in currency. And if you melt them, take a torch to them, 715 ounces of silver melt out. So in 65, the half dollars went to 40% till 1970, but 64 and older is the Kennedys, the Walking Liberties, the Franklins. You get a mixture of everything in these. So, and we are the lowest price in the country as far as I can tell. So
we've been looking. I don't see them anywhere. Try all your online guys, everything. When you got the Walkers and the Franklins, and so anyway, you can get. We've been running the special at $8 a half dollar, which is a great buy on them. So, I mean, granted, you got to buy a minimum half bag, which is 1,000 of them at $8. So you can pick up 1,000 of them for $8,000, which is $8 a coin. Now, the silver comprised in that is half of what a silver dollar is. So, when you think of it that way, at $16 for a silver dollar, guess how many you can get of those today? None.
You can't buy a silver dollar for
anywhere
$16.
Close. Anywhere close to that.
Nothing. Not even get close. So to be able to buy the same amount of silver and have it in two half dollars instead of a silver dollar, because at $8 each, but not everybody's got $8,000. So if you want to get a roll of them, and actually minimum's going to be 5 rolls, because we're just
minimum order 5 rolls.
We're going to do them at $9 a coin, and we'll roll them up for you. So you can get 90% silver, 1964 and older half dollars for $900. That's 5 rolls at 20. Add $20 to ship them, so $920. How's that?
Yeah, and that $20 won't even cover the shipping, but we're going to split it with you.
We'll split it with you. So $920, $950 on a credit card. How's that? So anyway, all in at $950. So $9.50 for $half. When you look at silver dollars, you look at everything being unobtainable. The fact that we can even get them. You know what's going to happen is this continues, and if it does propagate and goes literally off the rails here, and everything is in short supply except money. You understand that? Go back to the definition of hyperinflation, where everything is in short supply except money. Where they're going to figure out how to get it into everybody's accounts. So when they start running everything, and people just start raising prices left and right, because there's no shortage of money, but obviously shortage of anything that's tangible, real, or something that you can eat, which is what happens in third world countries, which is exactly what they're proposing here. That we may reverse it. The more you want, the more it's going to cost you. Oh, you only want 100? $9. You want 1,000? 500. Can't get them. So take the chance. If you're thinking about it and if you're on the fence, where else are you going to put it? What's going to stop it? I'm not telling you Wall Street's going to crash. I'm not telling you that. I'm telling you the opposite. That there's going to be money for everything. But will it buy anything? Is this the final cycle for the Federal Reserve note, where you can still exchange it for things of value and tangible? You think they said, if you believe as I do that a lot of things are an orchestrated event and not a calamity of errors performed by a bunch of idiots, but yet this is part of another orchestrated event. They already have the cashless society. The golf course has a sign at the Biltmore. We will not accept cash. This is the Biltmore. This is the antithesis of wealth in the Valley of the Sun, has been forever. You know, how many presidents have dined at the Biltmore? This is capitalism at its finest. Has a sign, we do not accept cash. Chew on that for a minute while you're in line to get a beer. It's crazy. Anyway, you get $100 half-dollars, silver half-dollars for $900, or you get 1,000 of them at $8, or you get a full bag, $16,000. I would talk to your wife about this if you're thinking about doing it. I don't know how long this is going to last, so I'm amazed we can still get them. Final segment coming up. Stay with us if you can take it. Final segment. Beautiful day to be alive for those of us that are still amongst the living. So it's just crazy. The answer is, what do you do? What don't you do? There is no book, but there will be one. So, Cousin Mark said, listen to your show. Great show as always. FYI, Iowa, 3.5 million people, 41 deaths attributed to CV. How many of these had additional health issues, which Bricks, whatever her name is, she even said the other day, did you see that? Well, the hospitals are so overwhelmed in New York that they're classifying almost all deaths as coronavirus. Said it in the news conference. Saw it myself. So, who knows how bad it is? I don't know. You'll know. I mean, if we all get it.
I can tell you right now. I want to say, and I don't know the exact number, but I want to, from what I've seen, 80%, maybe 90% of the ones, they've had some other conditions to go along with it.
Yeah,
right?
It always says complications. Yeah. So, I mean,
again, it's just crazy what we're talking about.
The only time I've ever seen that before is guys that went bankrupt due to complications with divorce. We had a small complication. So the markets are all catching up. The spot gold's up $20-$30 right now. So they got that crazy bid as they're trying to deliver contracts. They show it at $1,715. They got silver. They've still got that crazy ticker on Kitco at 1530. It's actually trading at
we got silver 1560, gold at 17. Let's call it 1760 right now on gold. The Dow is down 511 points. The S&P, the Nasdaq, they're all lower as well. And for all you chartists there, a 50% retracement. The computers did that nice and tidily last week for Wall Street, and now today. Ford started out with the bad announcements about how bad its earnings are going to be, and I think a lot of people starting to question whether or not this V-shape they keep talking about can happen if the government's not sending people checks.
Where's the new Bronco? Man, they've kept that under wraps. That's due spring of 2020. I mean, I'm a motorhead. I've been kind of waiting. I go, if they build a neat one, I'd like to have one, Not that I can afford it, but I'd like to at least see it, unless they ruin it like they did the Blazer, so nobody knows. They've kept that under wraps. No announcement there. I figured that vehicle, if they did it right, could single-handedly save Ford. Single-handedly. Huge following.
If they were smart, I would wait for this thing to be over and then launch that and be the one that, kind of like Jeep. Jeep kind of came out with those cool-looking Jeep designs. Everybody wanted a Jeep. But again, to your point, you got to have faith that Ford's actually doing it right. I'm sure they're going to screw it up.
They'll probably screw it up. They screw everything else up. You know what? Right now, there's an engineer going, can't we just put like a bottle of hydrogen peroxide in the engine? And you can hit the disinfect button, poof, and it just kills all the germs.
Pack the toilet paper in the back.
Right, everything. The disinfect button. That's pretty good. Overdrive? No, disinfect. So Toyota had a party mode button. So, but that was for the speakers. I'm sorry. You never know. It's Monday. I'm doing pretty good. I had Good Friday off. Joe, by the way, your Good Friday show, you should be, you should get a commendation for that. Very proud of you. A moment of silence on radio.
Yeah, dead air's never a great thing, but it was warranted.
That cost me half, by the way. It's very nice of you. So, silver $50. You get 1,000 of them at $8. You want to get 100 of them? $9. Can't be any fairer than that. A lot cheaper than a silver dollar. So, other than that, it's catch as catch can trying to get product in here. Thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate it. We try not to waste your time. do business with us, and we'll keep moving forward. God bless everybody. Thank you so much for your support. We'll see you tomorrow, good Lord willing. Take care. We're out of here.